Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that helps you become your best self, and today we are talking about stop fighting your feelings, how to accept and honor your emotions. But before we jump into that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on Instagram. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to take any questions, comments, or concerns that you have, topic suggestions, or maybe you just want to say hi. Please look me up over there and send me a message, or you're welcome to send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you there. And I do want to invite you to join the new Facebook group that is available for you. It's a private group, so you just there's a link down in the show notes below, along with where to find me on Instagram and send me an email. And so you can just go to the link there and then request to be added to the group and be in the community where we can support each other, where I will make announcements, where I'm trying to get on this cadence of every other day, sharing thoughts and talking about the podcast and digging into those episodes if you're interested. So I encourage you to join that group. Also, if you'd like to sign up for my newsletters, you can head over to my website, which is sabrinajoy.com. And if you just do / newsletter, you'll be able to come up to sign up for that. That comes out every 2 weeks, where again, I'm just sharing little tidbits, stories, sharing my favorite things, journal entries, all kinds of things. I'm trying to figure out what you guys actually want. So if you do sign up for the newsletter, feel free to send me feedback if you are I don't like this, or this is boring, or whatever, because I'm trying to tailor it to things that you guys would actually enjoy. And then last but not least, I've kind of talked about how I am going to have an 8-week coaching program that is coming up that'll start in June. And if you're interested in that, please send me an email and let me know. But if you'd like more details on that, you can send me an email, or next week, I will give details on a webinar, a free webinar that I am going to be doing to talk about what would be included in the coaching program. Again, it'll be 8 weeks. It's going to be a small community, and you'll also have time to meet one-on-one with me every single week and have free resources and tools and things like that. And so if you're interested in joining that coaching program that will start in June, I will be talking about the webinar really soon. That's free to attend. So that's all the announcements. That's a lot longer than I normally talk about announcements, but I want you guys to know those things. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode, which again is Stop Fighting Your Feelings, How to Accept and Honor Your Emotions. Fake it till you make it is one of those phrases. I don't like it now. To be honest with you, it's ugh. But I used to live and die by that phrase because I never wanted to acknowledge how I was truly feeling. As a child, as an adolescent, young adult, I just didn't want to, right? It didn't feel good. I would fake whatever the most appropriate emotion was for that moment and just get through the experience, right? So if I had to be in a group or at an event or a party or at school or whatever it was just way easier to just fake it until I make it. And it's the fake it till you make it thing is really supposed to be this inspirational, motivational thing where it's just pretend to be happy. And then eventually that will turn into your real emotion. And that's not how emotions work. I can understand how in a pinch you could latch on to that. It's not even a mindset. You could really latch on to that idea of something helping you. If you are really not in the mood to be doing something, but you have to, you can just tell yourself, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. And fake that you're enjoying it or you want to do it until that, mood actually kicks in. Sure. I guess that could work for a little bit, but I think that's way better just to face how you were truly feeling. But for me, I was just okay, we just need to plaster that smile on or whatever we need to feel and keep it moving. And I didn't want to expose any type of vulnerability for fear that someone would use it against me, right? Or it would make me appear less than. And yes, I was thinking these things at age 10. It was my true reality. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that, right? It seems really weird, but it's exactly what happened. But regardless of whether you were doing it at age 5, 10, 15, 25, now, whatever age that you may be, it's still not, it's not the greatest. And when you were slinging punches at all the trauma trying to take you out, you are not about to expose any weak spots, right? I was definitely going through many traumatic things growing up. And so it was just like, no, I don't need to be vulnerable. I don't need people to see where I'm weak. Absolutely not. But that was another thing, being vulnerable felt weak to me when I was younger, right? It was nice to be kind to other people when they were being vulnerable, but for me to actually um, engage in this behavior, absolutely not. No, that was not going to be me. I remember there were times that I did share emotional things with like others, like friends or like a family member or even like my dad or my mom, but it was such an awkward interaction. It never felt natural to me because I wasn't taught how to like properly deal with my emotions. Because there would be times where my emotions were all over the place. I was like happy, and then all of a sudden I was sad and I was angry, and I was not taught how to manage it, how to regulate it, understand it. But I was very good at pretending to feel a different way that I was because it was a survival technique, right? And I know that we've all been there at some point where we just have to like do what we can to survive. And like since it was an awkward interaction for me, being vulnerable, it just didn't feel right. And so I didn't end up doing it often, right? It was just like, oh, this is not working out for me. I don't understand how other people can do this, and it feel good, and it's not to me. And so eventually, all of that ended up blowing up in my face, and I was forced to face my emotions, as I've shared with you guys. If you've listened to the show long enough, you'll know that I went through the biggest emotional blow up of my life about, I would say, I don't know, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Yeah, around that, where I just started like cutting myself in broad daylight, like in front of people, and kind of just like, lost it. I completely lost it, and I had to get help. It was like I had to get like, I was like kind of in between seeing someone at that point. I thought I was fine, and I was doing all of these things and living my life, and it just all broke down at that moment. It decided at that moment. And so I had to get help. So that's how it all blew up in my face. And I never want anyone else to go through that. Sometimes you have to go through that, but I never want anyone else to go through that, which is why I'd like to share on how to not get that deep into your pit of despair. So that's part of the reason why I'm here, to try to help people. And also just to share, like, if you've been through a similar experience, you know that you are not alone, right? I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're alone in something they're going through. Yes, there's many things that I haven't gone through that I can't necessarily directly relate, but I try my best to learn about those things and research it so that I can deliver at least knowledgeable answers, but never ever assume that I know how it feels unless I've been through it. So anyway, just that. But sharing that I had a hard time with emotions and vulnerability, as I know many of us did or currently do, it just found it really important to talk about how we are trying to fight our emotions. We spend a lot of time fighting and running away from our emotions. We think we can just brush it all under the rug, pretend like we aren't feeling what we're feeling, and think it'll all be fine. But think about all the experiences, like the people, events that have triggered a reaction in you, right? Just like any time in your life. And like think about all the things that make you uncomfortable, but you don't know why. Like you can't put your finger on it, right? And like thinking about those things and letting that settle into your brain, to like go down to the deep recesses of your subconscious, to be like, why or what is driving those things? Like, have you ever asked yourself where all this comes from? These uncomfortable feelings, those triggers of like a reaction in certain places, and maybe there's a connection, you just haven't figured out what it is. So if you haven't asked yourself where it's all coming from, you should, because it generally is coming from not accepting your emotions and trying to throw those away, right? You're just like, oh no, I'm sad. No, we're going to toss that one out. That's a hard no for me. I know some people act like that. Um, but you will end up having all of these like uncomfortable feelings or uncomfortableness, right? And triggers and reactions and things that are not great, but you don't know where it's coming from. It just feels like it's just happening and you don't know what's going on. And, instead of those feelings actually going away, like you're trying to throw them away, brush them away, run away, these instead get stored away somewhere deep in our minds to bubble up later at a very inopportune time. I just shared my inopportune time. It happened before that, for sure, not in this big of a way as it did, but it can happen in a really big way where you literally have to like change your whole life in an instant because it has wrecked you so deeply and you didn't even see it coming because you weren't accepting and honoring your emotions all this time. And I'm not saying that like you're in trouble for not doing that. I'm just saying that it's better for you to learn that you need to do that now, even if it feels like you wish you'd learned it a decade or two ago, than to continue on with this type of behavior so that you can feel better and understand yourself better. Because honoring and accepting your emotions is also a part of self-awareness, which I love to talk about, as you know. So, trying to hide your feelings, trying to ignore what you're feeling, trying to pretend you feel differently than you actually do is what I thought it would be, is what I thought would be helpful to talk about in regards to accepting and honoring your emotions, because these are very common things that we do with our feelings. When honestly, if we just give them a big ol' hug and welcome these in, we'll feel so much better, I promise you. So today I'm going to share with you 5 ways on how to accept and honor your emotions. Are you ready? I think you are. Okay, let's jump in. Number 1, don't ignore your emotions and allow yourself to feel emotions. Okay? Don't ignore them and allow yourself to feel them. Give yourself permission to actually feel your emotions, acknowledge that you're having that specific emotion. And I want you to know that you shouldn't ignore them and you should give yourself permission to feel them because feelings are not selfish. I feel like some of us believe that feelings are selfish and that we shouldn't have them because we haven't earned the right, or other people should be having them first, or people in our life have made it seem like they get to dictate when we feel a certain way or not. I definitely had that experience growing up where, it was like that classic line of, you're sad, let me give you something to be sad about, right? Your parents are like angry at you and you're sad because you broke something, or you're sad because like you ripped the head off your bear or something like that. These seems like really weird examples. But you're sad about something that your parent is taking their anger out on you and like, oh, that's not sad. Let me give you something to be sad about. And they like give you a spanking or something like that. And so it kind of puts in your brain like, okay, feeling things is selfish because I have not been given the approval, right, to feel how I'm feeling. And that makes it even more difficult for you to want to honor and accept your feelings because you've been told to not, that what you're feeling is not worthy enough of an actual full-fledged emotion because someone told you that it's not. But feelings aren't selfish. You are welcome to feel however you would like to feel. And just because your emotions aren't positive doesn't mean these don't deserve to be acknowledged. Okay? A lot of times our emotions aren't necessarily positive. They can be. You can be happy, you can be joyful, you can be just so content and grateful and thankful and all of these things. But you can also be sad and anxious and depressed and disappointed and mad and angry and confused. And you can feel all of those things. And just because they aren't positive things doesn't mean that they don't deserve their own time to shine and to be observed by you, and understood by you. So don't push your emotions to the side until you feel like you have time or decide to never make time so you don't actually go back to them. Because it's important just to address it in the moment as soon as you can. And there will be moments where you can't unpack everything you're feeling in the moment, but don't put it off for too long, okay? Because your emotions can start to overflow quickly, as I've shared in my story before. But even in times where if you're just continuing to feel like sad, it could just you might add one more sadness to that pile of sadness, and it just starts to overflow out of you, and you're so sad that you just become depressed, or you're so sad you might actually lean more into anger because you're angry that you're always so sad and you are rarely feeling other feelings, and it's just all too much, right? Just an example. So there will be moments where it's not appropriate for you to start crying in the middle of an event, but if you're able to sneak away to the bathroom and just let a few tears fall or acknowledge to yourself, hey, I'm feeling really sad right now. I wish I wasn't feeling sad. This is why I'm feeling sad. Or I don't know why I'm feeling sad. I need to figure that out. Let me identify what I actually am feeling. Just even taking, sneaking a moment away and then promising yourself that you're going to come back and figure out even deeper what's going on so that you can address it so that you are actually fully understanding how you're feeling and why and what you can do to move forward with those emotions. Okay, number 2, be honest about how you're feeling. Really honest. There's no reason for you to lie to yourself, especially if no one's going to know either way, right? So be honest about how you're feeling. Don't try to convince yourself that you don't feel a certain way. Just be honest. Even if you know it's irrational, just own it all, right? There's a lot of times where I have feelings that are irrational, and I will say that even out loud because I am trying to practice doing it out loud so it's comfortable for me and so that my husband and my daughter know how I'm feeling, but also to be a good role model for my daughter so that if she's feeling a way, she is welcome to just say it out loud and express it and know that that's okay and that's healthy and that is what she should be doing. And maybe she can also influence her friends to do the same so that they can get more comfortable with their emotions, right? So yeah, even if it's irrational, even if you know you are so angry about something and it's not necessarily that thing warrants that much anger, but that's what you're feeling in the moment. And then you're going to let it you're going to accept it and it's going to pass and it's not really going to affect anything or require anything else of you. You still took the time to honor and accept those emotions, which is helpful. So super helpful. And being honest about how you're feeling will help you uncover why you're feeling the way you are, which will then lead down a path to what you can do to shift your emotions to feel something else or really figuring out what it is you're feeling and how to move on from there or create positive coping mechanisms to support how you're feeling. So it doesn't turn into something negative, but more positive and helpful while you experience those emotions for however long you do. So, I think that taking the time to actually understand why you're feeling a certain way, why does this certain thing cause you so much anger? And is it because of rejection or is it because of confusion or deep hurts and pains that haven't been shared and all of these different things that are under that source emotion. So when I talk about source emotion, it's usually because I'm referring to the emotion wheel. Type those 2 words into Google, you will know what I'm talking about. Emotion wheel, like a wheel on a car, emotion wheel. At the center of the emotion wheel, there is 6, I believe, emotions. And I believe anger is one of them. And then so there's 6 in the middle, and then there's another ring around where those emotions extend from the source emotions, and then sometimes usually there's like even another ring where more emotions will stem from that second ring. It just trickles down. And so when you're feeling angry, which is a source emotion, you might actually just be feeling irritable, or you might be feeling rejected, or you might be, like all of these deeper, more specific emotions that you're actually feeling, to better understand what's going on and how you're processing everything. Does that make sense? So I think that to understand better why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, looking into using an emotion wheel could be so super duper helpful. Maybe I should have that as like a free resource for you guys to download, so you don't have to go look for one online. But if you want to go look, because like there so many people make them and they can be so super helpful, right? So yeah. So again, being honest with you, how you're feeling with yourself and with others can be super helpful, at least with yourself at the bare minimum. But branching out to other people is so super good too. And yeah, don't convince yourself that you need to feel a different way. Just feel the way that you feel. Be super true to who you are, and that'll definitely help you to honor and accept your emotions. Number 3, don't judge how you're feeling. Don't tell yourself that you shouldn't feel a certain way. So back to number 2, where I was talking about how, like, just be honest with yourself. Even if you're feeling your emotion, it's irrational. I'm sure someone would be like, well, that's kind of like judging your feeling, right? And when I think about things being irrational, I just know that the situation does not warrant me to be angry that they're out of oat milk at Starbucks. Right? Because it's not like anyone did anything to me. They just had more customers come in that had requested that ingredient and got it before I got there, or they're having a shortage, or something happened, whatever the reason. And so despite the fact that I might be angry, because I'm not really angry, I'm like more disappointed, right? And maybe I'm irritable because that's really what I wanted and what I need in the moment, and I have to go find another Starbucks that might have it, right? And so identifying my emotions as irrational is really just me being like, this situation doesn't warrant me to be angry, so I'm gonna label it as irrational and try to find the actual emotion attached to it, which again is probably irritability, to be honest with you. Disappointment, probably both. But more than that, it's like, don't tell yourself that you shouldn't feel a certain way. You are welcome to feel any way that you want. So me judging my feelings would be like, oh, you're so dumb for being sad about that. That would be judging my feelings. And that is what I'm telling you that you should not do. You can't just be like, oh, you can't be sad, you can't be upset, or you shouldn't be happy because everyone else is sad. And, that's actually a problem that I have experienced and I still have trouble with, is when a lot of people around me are going through hard things, but I'm just really leaning into gratitude and all the things that are going well, even if I have struggles I'm going through, and I'm being happy about it. But I want to like pull back my happiness because other people are not as happy as I am, because they choose not to be, right? And they're going through hard stuff, and that's just the way that they're managing everything that they're feeling, and it can be really hard. But I've been trying to help myself be like, no, I don't need to not be happy because my kid isn't happy or my spouse isn't happy. I need to be happy because it fulfills me, and it's showing others how I'm doing. And maybe it could also be a light to shine on others who aren't feeling happy, that could in turn be happy because I'm like spreading that happiness and joy to others. So that's the way that I like to think about it, because it helps me feel more positive about the feelings that I'm feeling. Also, if I'm feeling sad about something and someone else is feeling really intimidated with sharing that they're feeling sad about something, then it's kind of like I can be like that first person that steps up and is honest with how they're feeling, and then other people can be like, yeah, that's how I'm feeling too, but I was feeling so insecure about sharing it and scared about judgment. It's like I'm just like stepping into that, and I don't feel like a hero or anything doing that. I just feel like a role model, and I think it's okay to be a role model for these positive things, especially since they're all about emotions, and that is all I am about, right? But yeah, you're welcome to feel any way that you want. The thing to remember is you can feel however you want. You just can't act any way you want. But if something makes you mad, be mad, right? Starbucks is out of oat milk. They sold out of your favorite breakfast sandwich. Dude, that sucks. That really sucks. If something makes you sad, be sad, right? I remember back in the day when I used to watch that TV show, Biggest Loser, I would cry a lot. And my husband's always like, why are you crying at this TV show? And I'm like, I don't know, they're just transforming and growth and becoming better and all this stuff. And I would cry. And he thought it was so silly, but I was like, no, I just feel those feelings. I feel those emotions. I'm an empath, okay? But if something makes you sad, feel sad. And don't let other people cause you to feel insecure about feeling about feeling the way that you're feeling, right? And so, my husband wasn't necessarily trying to like make me feel bad. He was just like, why are you crying? You shouldn't be crying. And it's like, no, I'm crying because I am having the feelings while watching the show. I'm having the feelings while watching this movie. I am having the feelings while reading this book, like whatever, watching this thing, doing whatever. I'm having the feelings. And I'm okay with that. And it's not really affecting you. Because they think that you're sad, like where you're going to like bring them down, when really they don't need to be worrying about that, right? But if others do try to make you feel insecure about feeling the way you feel, they are just projecting their feelings of being insecure about their own feelings onto you so that they don't have to feel anything about it. That makes sense, right? So it's like with anything, it's like, bullies will bully other people because they're being bullied. People that are feeling insecure about however they want to feel about things, but they feel like they can't, they're going to make you feel bad about it because it makes them feel better and justified in their decisions. So, but just know it's okay. You can feel however way you want to feel. Do not judge the way that you are feeling because that is just who you honestly are. And it will help you learn so much about yourself and what helps you to thrive and what like kind of pulls you down and what holds you back and what really gets you amped up and what really triggers you to be sad and hurt your heart and maybe what things that you care deeply about that you didn't even realize you did, but they really like get you at the core, And so those are all really helpful things that can help you live your life to the fullest and serve others and be happy, right? Be your best self, like what I talk about. Okay, number 4 out of 5. Number 4, remember your emotions are just as important as everyone else's. This is a good one. I mean, they're all good, but this is a good one because I'm sure it's maybe not one that you expected to hear in this list, but it is important because you are not required to put everyone else's emotions before yours. You're not. And you're not. I'm looking at you, people pleasers, even myself, because a lot of times we will want to put everyone else's feelings before ours and then feel like there is no room, there is no space for us to feel the way we feel. But there's plenty of room, right? People might act like there isn't, but there is. And you're welcome to feel just like everyone else is. Just because you're different doesn't mean that you aren't worthy of feelings. Like, that's absolutely ludicrous. So you are not required to put everyone else's emotions before yours. You're also allowed to have the feelings you have, even when someone else tells you don't deserve it or shouldn't have it, right? So like if someone tells you, oh, you don't deserve to have a good partner or a good friend or a good job, like that's crap. They're just so super insecure about what's going on in their life that they want to hurt someone else because it takes away the pain that they're feeling for their own crap, right? So don't let people say that like, oh, you don't deserve to want these wonderful things, or You can't like be sad about not having a good job because you just aren't worthy of getting a good job. So suck it up and move on. Like, no, that's ridiculous. That's like bullying. That's not nice. That's not true. And, just because someone is going through something else that seems harder or more traumatizing than you still doesn't make it more important than what you're going through. Okay. So that's also an important thing to remember in regards to how your emotions are just as important as everyone else's. Someone might be going through something so terrible, so terrible, it's kind of tearing their life apart. Then you could be going through something that's not as bad in comparison, like a direct comparison, but for you, it's really bad. It's really hard. And just because they're going through something worse doesn't mean that your thing doesn't deserve time to be thought about, time to be considered. Doesn't mean that your sadness is less than their sadness. It's just different sadness. It's different levels, it's different experiences, different people, different seasons of life, different, all of the way around. So just know your feelings of sadness are just as important as someone else's feelings of sadness. As someone else tries to like get up in your grill and is like, why are you even sad right now? Like, you don't even need to be sad because a lot of people will be like, why are you sad about this? Because you have all of these amazing things happening in your life and you should just like focus on those, which I kind of feel like is like a little bit of toxic positivity where they're like, no, just focus on all the other good things, which yes, all times I will often be like, hey, you're going through a struggle, lean into gratitude, be grateful for what's still happening in your life. That doesn't mean that you just need to write off how you're feeling about this struggle that's going on in your life. You can still like really go through the sadness and the heartbreak of whatever it is, but also still be like, okay, this is hard, this is difficult, but I'm going to continue to push through, and I'm grateful that I have this, that, and the other in my life that's going to help me persevere, right? So just remember that your emotions are just as important as everyone else's. People will try to make you feel like they're not. Don't listen to them. They're full of crap. Don't. Listen to me. I am trying to build you up here to be strong in your emotions. Okay, number 5 and the last one to end all of this. Get support with your emotions. Surprise, surprise that I end on a tip that talks about leaning into people that support you. Seek out help from people you trust. If you find your emotions to be overwhelming or you need help really figuring out like, okay, I'm angry, but am I disappointed? Am I irritated? Am I feeling another feeling, right? Am I sad? So seek out support. So that's like a trusted friend, a family member, maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's a coach like me, maybe it's a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, whomever you trust. Get support from them. Lean into them. As a community, not just here, I mean like in general in life, I feel like we're supposed to be like a community that we can lean on each other and, glean information and knowledge from each other and give and take. And I know life is not a utopia, so it's not necessarily like that, but I feel like anytime we can make it like that, it's so much better. So if you have those kind of relationships built up, I would do that. If you don't, I would find a way to build that up, at least one of those, so that you can have someone to help you figure out how you're feeling and how to not be overwhelmed and how to push through despite those emotions swirling around your head and making you feel like you might drown in emotion, which I've been there. I get it. I totally understand. So, okay, well, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. I appreciate you listening, downloading, and sharing the show. Thank you so much for doing so. Again, check the show notes below for where to find me on Instagram, where to send me an email, where to sign up for the Facebook group, the private community Facebook group. Send me any emails if you're interested in my 8-week coaching program talking all about how to become more emotionally resilient, being able to bounce back despite struggles and continue to persevere and focus on the things that are most important to you. And also, if you need more information on that, I would say sign up for my newsletter on my website, or become friends with me on Instagram, because I will be announcing the free webinar that is going to come up during the 3rd week of May. So thank you again for listening and downloading and sharing. Until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.